Have you ever wondered why some people walk into a room and instantly command respect without saying a single word? What if I told you that the way people treat you has less to do with who you are and more to do with how you see yourself? And here's the real twist. The moment you stop needing approval is the moment people start giving it to you freely. Let's talk about why the confidence you crave has been in your hands all along. Every now and then, you need to pause and remind yourself of one simple truth. You are the only one who truly understands your worth. Not your boss, not your friends, not anonymous faces on the internet. Just you. The moment you begin to believe in your own value, something powerful begins to shift. Others will follow your lead. The world reflects back to you what you project outward. If you walk with quiet confidence, people naturally respond with respect. But if you're constantly second-guessing yourself, always worried about what others might think, others will sense that too and treat you accordingly. Here's the catch. Confidence doesn't mean you never fail, never get rejected, or never make mistakes. It means you know you'll be okay even when those things happen. When you truly trust yourself to handle whatever life throws at you, fear begins to fade. And when fear no longer controls you, nothing and no one can shake your peace. The truth is, most people spend their lives chasing approval often without realizing it. They dress a certain way, talk a certain way, behave a certain way, all carefully curated to avoid judgment. But here's the danger. When you live for approval, you hand over your happiness to someone else. The moment you depend on external validation, your emotions become fragile. If someone praises you, you feel good. If they criticize you, your confidence wavers. If they ignore you, you start doubting yourself. It's a risky way to live because it puts your peace of mind in the hands of people who might not even truly know you. But here's the liberating truth. What people think of you actually says more about them than it does about you. Everyone sees you through the lens of their own experiences, fears, and insecurities. One person may think you're incredible. Another may think you're average. One might admire you. Another might resent you. Who's right? Neither. Because opinions aren't facts, they're just reflections of the person holding them. When you understand that, you stop taking opinions so seriously. We're conditioned from a young age to seek validation, gold stars, praise, good grades. But eventually, you have to grow out of that. You have to realize that living for approval is a game you'll never win. No matter how kind, talented, or hardworking you are, someone, somewhere will still find a reason to criticize you. So why waste your energy chasing approval? Why build your confidence on something so unreliable? Once you stop seeking validation, everything changes. You begin making choices based on what you truly want, not on what will impress others. You stop tiptoeing through life, afraid to upset people. Ironically, that's exactly when people respect you the most, when they see that you don't need their approval to feel secure, because confidence is magnetic. The more solid you are in who you are, the more people are drawn to you. Does that mean you should ignore all feedback? Of course not. Growth comes from learning. But there's a clear difference between listening to constructive feedback and being addicted to approval. One helps you evolve, the other keeps you stuck. The secret is learning to filter. If the feedback helps you grow, take it. If it's just noise, let it go. Here's where real strength lies. When you let go of the need for validation, you become immune to manipulation. People can't guilt trip you, pressure you, or control you if their opinions no longer define your worth. Rejection doesn't scare you. You stop trying to prove anything to anyone. And that, right there, is true freedom. That at the end of the day, your life belongs to you, not your parents, not your friends, not society, you. So ask yourself this: are you living for yourself or for the approval of people who may not even care? Tomorrow, once you answer that honestly, nothing and no one will ever bother you the same way again. Here's the final piece of the puzzle. Perspective is everything. The way you see a situation determines how you feel about it. Two people can go through the exact same moment, yet one walks away furious, and the other calm and centered. Why? Because one of them knows how to shift perspective. Your ability to choose how you interpret things is one of the most powerful tools you have. It can turn stress into motivation, frustration into fuel, and offense into indifference. The sad part is, most people don't even realize they have this power. They think emotions happen to them, like a reflex. Someone's rude, they feel angry. Something goes wrong, they get upset. But that's not how it works. It's not the event that causes the reaction, it's the story you tell yourself about it. That means, with just a shift in perspective, you can change how you respond. Take criticism, for example. Your first instinct might be to get defensive, to prove the person wrong. But what if instead you paused and saw it differently? So let's pick up where we left off on the power of perspective. What if instead of taking criticism personally, you viewed it like data, just information? Some of it is useful, it gives you insight, helps you grow, and the rest, just background noise. It says more about the person giving it than it does about you. Either way, it loses its sting. You see, the moment you realize that criticism is either constructive or irrelevant, it no longer controls you. It can't get under your skin unless you invite it in. It becomes neutral, something you can choose to use or ignore. And it doesn't stop there. That the same mindset applies when dealing with difficult people. You know the kind: negative energy, snide remarks, unnecessary drama. They're loud, rude, maybe even intentionally irritating. But here's a powerful shift. What if those people weren't problems, but practice? What if they were just life's way of testing your patience instead of reacting emotionally? What if you use them as opportunities to train yourself in staying calm, in control, and unshaken? Suddenly, that rude person isn't ruining your day, they're sharpening your discipline. They're giving you a chance to level up. Because when you stop viewing people as roadblocks and start seeing them as teachers, they lose their power over you. And speaking of power, how often do we give it away over things that, if we're honest, won't matter next week, next month, or next year? A sarcastic comment, a frustrating delay, a moment of embarrassment. We let these tiny moments dominate our mood, ruin our energy, even dictate how the rest of the day unfolds. But ask yourself if it's not going to matter a year from now. Why let it steal your peace today? Learning to zoom out, to view the big picture, helps you realize how temporary most annoyances really are. They're like passing clouds, they only linger if you chase them. It's easy to assume other people are responsible for how we feel. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You say they made you angry. A co-worker snaps at you. Suddenly your whole afternoon is ruined. But here's the deeper truth. No one has the power to control your emotions unless you hand it to. Then think about that. Anger, irritation, frustration, they don't just happen to you. They're responses. And responses are choices. Ever noticed how two people can face the same situation, yet one shrugs it off, while the other spirals into outrage? The difference isn't in the event, it's in the way they process it. That's the real key. How you choose to respond is always in your hands. Now, some might say, but I can't help it. When someone disrespects me, I just explode. But is that really true? More likely. You've developed a habit, a well-practiced routine of reacting. And just like any habit, it can be broken, rewritten, replaced. Imagine if, instead of firing back, you pause just for a second. That tiny gap between the trigger and your reaction is your power. In that space, you can ask, is this even worth my energy? And most of the time, it's not. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine someone walks up to you and tries to hand you a gift, but you refuse to take it. Who does the gift belong to? Still them, right? Now apply that to negativity. If someone offers you anger, criticism, or judgment, you don't have to take it. You can simply leave it with them. Their emotion, their projection, their baggage, not yours. Now. Don't get this twisted. This doesn't mean you become passive or let people walk all over you. It doesn't mean you ignore disrespect or pretend bad behavior is okay. It simply means you choose not to let other people dictate your emotional climate. If someone tries to insult you, but you refuse to be insulted, who really loses? They do, because their goal was to disturb your peace, and they failed. Think about the people you respect the most, the ones who carry real strength. Aren't they usually the ones who stay calm under pressure? The ones who don't flinch when criticized? The ones who walk away from drama, not toward it? That's not weakness. That's control. That's power. Let's keep going. Think about the people you admire most. Are they the ones who lash out at every little irritation? Or are they the ones who stay calm, cool, collected even in the heat of chaos? Real strength doesn't shout. It doesn't slam doors or fire off insults. True strength is quiet, steady, unshakable. It's the ability to control your emotions, not be controlled by them. And here's where things get even more powerful. The moment you stop letting things get to you, people lose their grip on you. That coworker who constantly tries to push your buttons, once they see you're not reacting, the fun disappears for them, and so do their gains. That overly critical person who loves pointing out your flaws, when they realize their words don't rattle you, they either change their tone or fade into the background. Why? Because they only have power if you give it to them. It's kind of like when a child throws a tantrum, you don't take it personally. You know they're still learning, still figuring things out. So instead of getting angry, you stay calm, maybe even amused. What if you applied that same mindset to adults? What if, instead of being offended, you saw their negativity for what it truly is, a reflection of their own struggles, not a mirror of your worth? You'd stop wasting time fighting battles that were never yours to begin with, and suddenly, life would feel a lot lighter. Because here's the truth. You, not your boss, not your family, not that anonymous voice online, are in charge of your emotions. And once you truly understand that, you become unshakable, unbreakable. Confidence is like armor. When you have it, the slings and arrows of judgment can't touch you. But when you lack it, even the smallest jab feels like a deep wound. That's why some people walk through life constantly offended, always on edge, always feeling like someone's out to get them. It's not because the world is unusually cruel to them. It's because they haven't made peace with themselves. When you know who you are, when you trust yourself full and nothing anyone says can shake you, think back. When was the last time someone's comment really got to you? Ask yourself, did it bother you because it was true? Or did it bother you because a small part of you feared it might be? See, words only sting when they touch something tender inside, an old wound, a hidden insecurity. If you called a lion weak, it wouldn't even blink because it knows exactly what it is. It doesn't need your validation. But call someone who's unsure of themselves weak, and suddenly they're defensive, even angry. Not because they believe it, but because deep down, they're afraid you might be right. That's why building confidence is so crucial. Not the fake kind that boasts and brags, but the quiet kind that stands firm without needing to prove anything. When you believe in yourself, you stop chasing approval. You stop needing likes, praise, or applause to feel worthy. You no longer measure your value by someone else's opinion. And when that need disappears, you become untouchable. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people criticize or tear others down not because they see flaws, but because they feel small. And trying to make others feel smaller helps them feel taller. But when you refuse to shrink, when you stay centered in who you are, their tactics fail. Now let's be clear, confidence is not arrogance. It's not thinking you're better than others. It's simply knowing that you don't have to prove your worth to anyone. A truly confident person doesn't argue to be right. They don't defend themselves over every misunderstanding. They know who they are, and that's enough. And when you reach that place, life gets easier. You stop obsessing over what others think. You stop overreacting to minor things. You stop turning passing comments into full-blown crises. But and this is key, confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build every time you stand by your decisions, every time you ignore a petty remark, every time you remind yourself that someone else's judgment doesn't define your reality. You're reinforcing that inner strength. You're growing the muscle of self-belief. And just like any muscle, the more you train it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger it becomes, the less anything or anyone can shake you. So where do you begin? Start by letting go of the need for approval. The moment you stop needing validation from others, you take back control. If someone criticizes you, let them. If someone doubts you, let them. Their opinion doesn't rewrite your truth. And here's the twist. The less you care about what others think, the more they start to respect you. It's ironic, but it's real. Of course, this shift won't happen overnight. Changing how you respond in the heat of the moment takes practice, but it's worth it. So the next time something annoys you, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? And more often than not, the answer will be no. And the more you train yourself to pause, to reflect, to zoom out, the more unshakable you'll become. So, when you master this mindset, when you truly learn to choose how you see things, something incredible happens. You become unshakable. Because in the end, it's not really about controlling everything that happens around you. That's impossible. Life is unpredictable. People will say things. Things will go wrong. But what you can control, what you always have power over, is how you interpret those things. And once you take ownership of that, nothing can really bother you again. Here's a simple truth that most people overlook. If you don't take something seriously, it can't hurt you. It sounds almost too easy, right? But think about it. The things that sting the most, the ones that keep us up at night, are the ones we choose to give importance to. If someone insults you and you take it personally, it burns, it lingers. But what if you didn't take it personally? What if you simply laughed it off or brushed it aside? With a shrug, suddenly, that insult loses all its power. Humor and indifference, those two are among the strongest shields you can carry in this life. They don't just protect you, they make you untouchable. See, the people who go through life constantly offended, always on edge, always bracing for the next insult, they suffer the most. Not because the world is harsher on them, but because they let everything in. They absorb every drop of negativity like a sponge, instead of letting it bounce off like rain on a raincoat. And here's the thing, negativity isn't going away. There will always be critics. There will always be people who annoy you, challenge you, provoke you. That's just reality. The real question is, will you let them get to you? Or will you rise above it? When you learn to laugh at what was meant to hurt you, you take away its sting. When you stop pouring your energy into nonsense, it stops having power over you. If someone's trying to bring you down, don't argue, don't fight. Just smile and move on. And no, that doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It doesn't mean you ignore genuine problems or allow yourself to be disrespected. What it does mean is that you stop wasting your energy on things that don't deserve your attention. Because here's the truth, most people who try to upset you aren't doing it because of you, they're doing it because of them. They're unhappy. They're insecure. They want a reaction, and every time you react, you hand them exactly what they're looking for. But when you stay calm, when you keep your cool, when you refuse to play their game, you leave them powerless. And that's when indifference becomes your armor. If humor is the shield that deflects the hit, then indifference is the quiet force field that makes the hit irrelevant. In the first place, when you reach the point where other people's negativity doesn't even register, where you no longer feel the need to explain yourself, to argue, to defend, or to set the record straight, that's real strength. Some people think ignoring negativity is weakness. It's not. It's mastery. It's understanding that your peace of mind is far more valuable than winning an argument. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not every battle is worth fighting. And sometimes, the greatest power is in doing nothing at all because you've realized it's not worth your energy, that your energy is sacred. Spend it building, not breaking. Spend it growing, not draining. So the next time someone tries to push your buttons, don't give them the satisfaction. Smile, shrug, walk away. Because the moment you stop letting things get to you, the moment you learn to laugh at the drama and stay indifferent to the noise, that's the moment you become untouchable. Some people think strength is about always winning, always proving a point, always having the last word. But true strength, it's the ability to walk away when the battle isn't worth your peace. It's knowing that your energy is far too valuable to waste on meaningless arguments, empty debates, or trying to convince people who don't even want to understand. And once you live from that place of clarity, of grounded strength, you stop being reactive and start being truly powerful. And here's the truth you eventually come to realize. You can't convince someone who's already decided not to listen, and you don't need to. The strongest people in the room, they're rarely the loudest. They're not the ones jumping into every argument or trying to prove a point in every conversation. No, the strongest people are the ones who know when to stay silent. They know when to step back, when to let things slide, and when to walk away with their peace still intact. Because one of the biggest traps people fall into is the need to be right. It's subtle, it feels justified, but it's draining. It pulls you into endless debates, robs you of your time and energy, and leaves you frustrated over things that won't matter tomorrow, let alone 5 years from now. Think about it. How many times have you watched two people go back and forth arguing over something completely trivial, neither one willing to let it go, neither one willing to step down that at the end of it? Does anyone actually win? Sure, someone might win the argument, but what did they really gain? An exhausted mind, a tense atmosphere, maybe even a fractured relationship. That's not victory. That's just ego wearing you down. Letting go of the need to win every argument doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It means you value your peace more than your pride. It means you've realized something that many never do. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every opinion deserves your response. Some people argue just to argue. Some are locked into their beliefs, and no amount of logic or facts will move them. And then there are those who don't even care about the topic, they just want a reaction, that's so. What's the smartest thing you can do? Don't give them one. Because the moment you stop engaging with negativity, it loses its power. The moment you stop feeding the fire, the flames start to die. People can only argue with you if you argue back. They can only disturb your peace if you open the door and let them in. But the moment you make a different choice, the moment you decide that your energy is too precious, to waste on petty conflicts, everything changes, that it takes real maturity. To stay silent when your ego is begging to speak. It takes strength to walk away when your pride is itching to stay and fight. But the reward? It's freedom. Freedom to move through life undisturbed. Freedom to choose calm over chaos. Not because you're avoiding the hard stuff, but because you know what's worth your attention and what absolutely isn't. So the next time someone tries to pull you into an argument, pause. Ask yourself, if I engage in this, what do I actually gain? Most of the time, the answer will be nothing, no peace, no growth, no resolution, just wasted time, wasted breath, and a little less energy than you had before. But when you choose not to engage, when you let it go, when you walk away instead of diving headfirst into someone else's, chaos, you win something far more valuable: control over yourself. And when you have that, there's nothing and no one that can shake you.